Hello. Today I'm going to show you how you can make your own self-watering planter on the potter's wheel. I'm going to make a cylinder and then collapse that cylinder intentionally. And later when it becomes leather hard, you just simply cut off the part that you collapsed, and that becomes the part that the plant lives in. And even if you don't do this exactly how I show you, you could potentially patch the collapsed part with a slab. I'll show you. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just put clay on the wheel and begin throwing. Wet that, press it down. Maybe cone a little bit first. So self-watering is a really interesting way to keep plants, especially orchids. What you do is you have a vessel sitting in another vessel with water, and there's a wick. That wick is going to carry the water from one vessel into the planting medium of the other. It's really nice. So anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna just condition this clay a little bit. It's a lot harder than I expected, so I'm gonna cone it a bit. Coning meaning just squeezing my hands together to bring up the clay and then pushing it back down. Maybe one more of these. All right, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna drop the hole. I'm gonna push down. Next thing I'm gonna do is reach in and pull out towards me to open up the clay. I'm gonna take my sponge to compress the bottom. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring up the wool. Gonna apply some pressure and move upwards. Sometimes I leave the walls a little bit thicker, thicker than if I was making a mug or a cup, so that I can, because I'm gonna be pushing them around a lot. Sometimes they don't like that. And I'm gonna keep the top compressed. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is kind of almost move into the direction of making a closed form. That way, first you want to just make sure that there's no water left in the vessel and that the rim is compressed. So again, I'm gonna move into the direction as if I were gonna make a closed form. And so I'm gonna wet the piece and I'm gonna kind of squeeze inward. I could close this all the way, but the problem with that is it won't want to collapse as readily. So maybe I'll almost close it, but it's just gonna be a little bit open here. Or I'll close it in without compressing here so that it opens back up when it needs to release the air. Okay, and I'm just gonna straighten out the sides. Okay, and I'm gonna basically, let me go all the way up. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna collapse this inward. Okay, so I'm gonna take the sponge here and I'm gonna brace here and I'm just gonna push down and inward like that. This still hasn't released its air yet. It's a closed form still, but it will. I didn't really close it very well, and you'll see why it's in. I wouldn't be able to push down here as much as I need to if this remained closed. So let's see if it opens on its own. Not yet. There it is. So this scooped out bowl part is where the plant lives. The rest of the vessel is what holds the water. So I'm gonna just straighten this back out a bit because it got a little flared out in this process. So I'm just moving straight up. Okay. So that's pretty much it. What I'm gonna do is when it gets leather hard, I'll trim the outside and I will I'll make an incision here so that I can lift out this part. And now that there's already a hole in the inside, I could either make multiple holes or I'll probably patch this up a little bit, but I'll show you that after this becomes leather hard. So the pot is dried for about 24 hours, so I'm gonna slice it off. I'm gonna cut pretty low here, just in case the two are sealed at the top. So I'm gonna take a needle tool and place the needle tool up against the side, like so, maybe all the way down here actually. And I'm just gonna move inward. And I'm gonna try to be very careful not to accidentally cut through the part that's sitting inside. And so now I have a little scoop area to plant the plant, and I have the pot itself. This is still very soft, so for now, I'm gonna let it dry a little bit more until it gets leather hard. So this is sat for another day, and it's ready for trimming. I could trim a little lip here, create a flange and have this fit inside, but I don't think it's really necessary. This just has to sit on top. So I'm gonna just clean this up a little bit. First by using the loop tool to just kind of remove all the rough edges that I created. Okay, I'm also going to angle this inward slightly so that it sits flush with this line. Okay, this piece needs a lot of help, so I'm going to place it on here, and I'm going to use the base as a chuck so that I can trim both at the same time so they fit. Okay. It's funny, just yesterday this was too wet to trim, and now it's actually approaching being too dry. So that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take the inside part where the plant lives and I'm gonna drill some holes in it. So this system works by using a wick of sorts. Some people use synthetic yarn, and that needs to have a place to escape. So I'm drilling a hole by twisting this tool. I'm gonna come in on this side and do the same thing. I need at least 3 of them probably. So there's one, I'll do one here, there. Gonna have 4. So I'm drilling from both sides just to clean up the little bits of clay. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this project. You have the part where you're going to plant the plant and your stones. You feed yarn through here, you fill the bottom with water, and you place it on top, and it becomes a beautiful planter that's self-watering.